reading, fighting back, fighting the terrorists, never-ending struggle, supporting the brand. Do some mailbag stuff. Before we start with that, a couple things. One, I'm looking out my window right now. Rain falling sideways is crazy. I don't know how crazy, but it's really like a sign of, I think it's like very symbolic rain. No, that made no sense. That's literally rain. Okay. Losing it. Questions. Let's do this. I said I was going to start off with this question last time, and really, I could do almost all my videos on this one student's questions because they're very in-depth. It would take me a long time to explain all these, but Miss Sullivan, Sophie, at what point could we no longer deny communism was a problem? Great question. That's why I saved that one. After they got the atomic bomb, that even with the Berlin blockade and the Berlin airlift, there were still some people in Washington who believed that the Soviets really didn't pose a great strategic threat because we had the bomb. And because of that, they really negated kind of all real concerns about the Soviets. After they get the atomic bomb, yeah, you can't deny that communism is no longer a problem. Smart people in Washington, they understood communism was a problem prior even to World War II. They knew that, there's the camera, they knew that that Lenin and Stalin in the late 19-teens, early 1920s, they understood that communism could not coexist with other forms of government or economics. So they knew this was a war from 1920 forward. Some American politicians understood that. Many did not. When did they officially recognize this was a problem? Probably with the atomic bomb. Some, certainly Truman with the Berlin airlift, when he saw that Stalin was actually willing to blockade Berlin and possibly go to World War III over Berlin. But I'd say the average American, when they detonated their own atomic bomb. Sophie, great question, phenomenal question. This could really just be me answering your questions. That's a compliment. But coffee or die. Box upside down. I just realized that. Okay, let's see what we got here for first serious question on Sophie's question. Ashton G, did both sides have spies? They did. I actually talked about that in a video for next week. Preview. But both sides had spies. The Soviets were so much better at the human intelligence spying game than we were. I honestly think if you guys want, email me or ask me questions on this. The spying stuff is fascinating, but both sides had spies. Soviets, the Walker spy ring is probably the most detrimental spy ring to the United States during the Cold War. It's a naval officer who, for around $350,000, basically betrays the United States, gives Soviets tons of intelligence on naval stuff. Our best thing we had for spying, to be honest, was our technology. Spy planes, computer hacking, things like that. Great question, though. Second question, so you can see it out of the box. Here, let's see this. Why didn't the U.S. just listen to Churchill? Alyssa L. Great question. It is a really good question because Churchill, beginning in the 1920, 1921, was telling people, watch out for communists. Watch out for this political system. Watch out for the Bolsheviks. The Soviet Union is going to be a major problem. So Churchill has this unique kind of claim to fame where he's one of the first people in power talking about you can't trust Hitler. He's also one of the first people in power who says you can't trust Stalin and the communists. Churchill, and you could definitely make the case he's the most important single leader of the 20th century, at least the first half for sure, is that he has the rare ability to understand evil for what it is and be able to call it for what it is. He had the moral courage to actually take these stands. People in the United States didn't listen to Churchill because they didn't want to hear him. We had just been, in the first part, it's because we're isolationists. We don't want to get involved in other people's affairs. That turns out to be a mistake. Second half, we were allies with the Soviet Union. Roosevelt did not want to hear, he thought he could manage Stalin, and he couldn't. And Churchill understood what Stalin truly was and what the Soviets truly were before Americans did. If we would have heeded Churchill's warning earlier, maybe he could have gotten ahead of this a little more. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we're at the 5-minute mark. Not bad. Okay. We'll grab two. We'll go this one. No way, Alyssa Second question. Why couldn't we just attack Russia? Right after World War II, we had demilitarized, and so we had brought down our number of our troop levels pretty low. We didn't have the manpower to actually do it. And once the Soviet Union got the atomic bomb, then it wasn't worth the risk. That you didn't want to start World War III. No one really wanted World War III. It was always a threat, and it was always possible. And we got to the brink a few times, but no one actually wanted it. So attacking Russia immediately after World War II, so let's say 8 months to a year after World War II ends, just was not realistic. Let's go one more serious one, do some funny ones. Try to keep this thing under 11 minuto. Australia. Do you think the U.S. could have done a better job to keep the spies out? I love the spying questions. Oh, 100%. From 1925 to 2003, and actually they still have spies in our country today. It'd be naive to think otherwise. Russia has done a phenomenal job at infiltrating the United States. I talked about this in another video, but they played the long game really well. They understood that they were at a war with the United States beginning in the 1920s. We don't realize we're at war with the Soviets until 46, 47, 48, somewhere in there, depending on what historians' view is. But they had 25 years head start on us. And because of that, they had different spy rings inside the United States that we just didn't do a good job of keeping track of. The wearing was a pretty big one. The most famous one was this Silver Master spy ring, which job was to infiltrate the U.S. government with spies. One of the individuals, the head of this ring, was named Henry. I think it's Henry. If it's Harry, it's Harry. But last name is Dexter White. He was part of the Treasury Department. He was a communist spy. He was spying for the communists. He was almost vice president of the United States. That's how successful the spy ring was. That they had completely infiltrated the Treasury Department and to a large extent the State Department. We did a bad job of recognizing this. Like we certainly did. There's a question in there. I'm not going to say it right now. It's a really good question. I want to pull it out. It involves Joe McCarthy. Maybe next time. Okay. So we got here funny questions. Got 3 minutes for funny questions. Okay. Why does Earl always have to talk back? Mr. Brady Shower. Because Earl doesn't know his role. He doesn't know his role in this entire thing. I'm the kingpin. He's not. Get over it, Earl. Okay. Have you ever thought about a mullet? Evan J. Evan, not only have I thought about it, that's the direction I'm currently going. So we'll see when it... Oh no, all the things just fell out. Let's put them back in there. Except for this one, which will now be the next question. Long story short, mullet, awesome for sure. This staying, it's a good look. It's a good look. I regret doing that. This should be my final question. Go to bed, you'll feel better in the morning is the human version of did you turn it on and turn it off and turn it back on? Logan H. Logan, I agree. I think that is our way of solving most medical problems is just go to bed, sleep it off. Like, I got broken leg, sleep it off. Got flu, sleep it off. Got corona, punch it in the face. Don't do that. Medically, there's no evidence of what I just said. Logan, that's a great one. That's a great one. Abby R. What are your pet peeves? Communism. That's a big pet peeve. I don't know. Only kill like 100 million people in the 20th century. That should be everyone's pet peeve. Communism. Lazy people. Bears fans. Mostly communism. And lazy people. And people who are rude. And people who treat other people with disrespect. But mostly communism. Better dead than red. Or, from a 1964 speech, pretty good. Ooh, good question, Nick. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. And this is in reference to being, subservient to the Soviets and things like that. You don't care. Long story short, communism. Okay. Nick G, hardcore Nick, doing hardcore things. 24/7, 365. That's hours, weeks, days, and year. Do you drink anything besides coffee? Ha! Water, protein shakes, pre-workout. Ooh, strong today. Strong like bull. Yeah, I do. those things I just mentioned. Okay, we'll go one more. I'd like to end on a really, really good one. Is this it? That's not it. I had to put that one back. It's not it. Not it. Come on. Come on. Someone impress me here. Because it has to be the right one. JCM. JC, 10 points for you. Extra points. Good final question to end on. Her question is, I don't know. You can't see that. I don't know. There you go. There you go. Ending on that one, obviously. Come on, JC, get it together. Same one I picked. Good one. Ooh, this is a good one for next time, though. It's too long a question. So we're going to end on JC's awful question, which wasn't even a question. So F for me. I just failed this. But you guys have a great rest of your day. It's raining outside. Sideways rain. The worst type of rain. Believe in yourself. Believe in the country. Someone get me a haircut. Drink a lot of coffee. Do a lot of push-ups. Do a lot of pull-ups. Do a little bit of core. A little bit of cardio. Don't ruin the games.